Hey YouTube, it's Nicole here on this Monday night. I hope you guys are doing great out there and welcome back to Nicole's View. So today was the last day of this sham of a trial against Bill Cosby. I am actually pretty shocked because I thought, the defense would, have a week like the prosecution did, but apparently from what I'm hearing, they feel pretty confident. They feel like they've showed how Andrea Constant is a liar. She's changed her stories many, many times to fit a timeline. The repeated phone calls after being assaulted, the gifts, visiting Cosby at his home after all of this, tickets to his comedy shows. Come on, I'm sorry. If this jury is listening and hearing and using common sense, this man should be found not guilty tonight. But we'll let them do their thing. We hope that they do the right thing. And this man should be set free. It's too much reasonable doubt. And also, we have to give a shout out to Miss Camille Cosby. As I said on Friday, they said that she would be here today. And she is there, standing by her man and standing by her husband of so many years. And many people they're going to say something regardless. When she wasn't there last week, they had something to say. And then when she is there today, oh, she's standing by her man, blah, 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 blah. Yep, that's what she's doing. If they have fixed the past issues that they went through and they've moved on from it, you should too. So, yeah, there is Miss Lovely Camille Cosby. And so, in the end, Mr. Monagle, he presented apparently a very strong ending for Mr. Cosby. And I am actually reading this from the Washington Post, which had a pretty nice write-up. I was looking through a lot of the articles, and many of them have the typical slanted view version that is geared towards Andrea Constance being the quote-unquote victim, which is a bunch of BS. So it says, he blamed it on lies, he blamed it on greed, he blamed it on the media. For 2 hours on Monday, Bill Cosby's attorney, flipping between stage-whispered intimacy and ear-splitting verbal explosions, ran through a long list of possible culprits he said are responsible for landing his high client at the center of one of the most high-profile criminal cases in recent American history. It's always like that when it comes to these Black Americans. The most recent, the most iconic, it's just so over the top. This ain't right, bellowed Cosby attorney Brian McMonagle in the closing argument. Earlier in the day, he had raced through a startlingly brief 6-minute defense, bringing to a close testimony in the sexual assault case against the 79-year-old comedian. McMonagle apologized at one point for his Irish-Italian temper during his pyrotechnic closing argument. He had the difficult task of stemming the momentum built by the prosecutors during an intense week of testimony that included an emotional appearance by Andrea Constant, a former Temple University women's basketball staffer who says Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted her in 2004. Constance has said that Cosby took advantage of his role as her mentor and slipped her pills that left her frozen and unable to stop him from touching her breasts and genitals. Whatever. McMonagle, a prominent Philadelphia defense attorney, accused Constant of telling a stone-cold lie. McMonagle was intent on persuading the 7-man, 5-woman jury that Constant was a lover of the comedian, not a victim. It's a relationship, he said. At the defense table, Cosby sat for long stretches, tilted forward in a reclining leather chair and squinting. A few steps behind, the comic legend's wife, Camille Cosby, watched from the front row of the audience when McMonagle urged jurors to view the sexual encounter between her husband and Constant as part of a year-long romance. Camille Cosby sat with her head held high, a slight smile on her face. In cross-examinations during the week-long prosecution case, Cosby defense attorneys repeatedly drew the attention of jurors to inconsistencies in Constant's statements to police investigators. On Monday, though, McMonagle widened his premise, arguing that Cosby is being tried criminally because of a drumbeat of allegations by other women who were eager to appear on television and at news conferences. Television shows such as Dr. Phil and networks such as CNN gave the woman a forum, he said. Yes, yes, yes. This is what this is. I am so glad his attorney pointed that out, because this is nothing but a witch hunt. Plain and simple. As he spoke, he turned with dramatic flair to the audience, where two of Cosby's previous accusers, Victoria Valentino and Linda Kirkpatrick, sat in the last of the 8 jam rows of padded wooden benches. You know why we're here, McMonigle said scornfully. Let's be real. Then he began pounding the defense table, sending the thunderclap of his palms on the wooden surface, ricocheting off the white column courtroom walls. Constant filed a lawsuit that was settled in 2006 after Montgomery County, PA prosecutors declined to file criminal charges against Cosby. McMonigle looked to raise doubts about her motives, reminded jurors that she contacted a lawyer who specializes in sexual assault lawsuits. About the time she reported the alleged assault to police. The implication is that she was after money from Cosby, one of America's wealthier entertainers. Rather than focus on the sexual assault allegations, McMonigle tried to present jurors with a broader sense of Cosby as a flawed man and unfaithful husband, but also a brilliant comedian. What we've always said, Cosby was dead ass wrong for what he did, cheating on his wife with a lot of these stupid, low-class women. But that doesn't equal up to rape. Okay, continuing. Who not only taught us how to smile, but how to love each other no matter what we look like. McMonigle's arguments will be followed Monday afternoon by closing arguments from prosecutors and instructions to the jury, which will decide whether Cosby is guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. Earlier in the day, McMonigle had raced through the final phase of testimony with Cosby and his wife of 50 years, who made her first appearance at the courthouse Monday. Watching, the defense attorney called only one witness, a police detective, to confirm the existence of a police report. And yeah, that's basically what happened today. It's kind of like just repeating itself. And let's see what it says. Camille Cosby was in the courthouse after a week of her absence. She slipped into the courtroom while the judge was addressing the audience and the attorneys, and many in the audience had their heads turned. She walked slowly through a swing gate and into the well of the courtroom. Rather than entering the seating area via a side aisle, dressed in a gray and white sweater and skirt, she had a rigid smile fixed on her face. By allowing Cosby's wife to enter the courtroom in the middle of proceedings while the judge was speaking, officials extended her an extraordinary and unprecedented courtesy that had not been afforded to others in the crowded courtroom. Members of the audience, including some of Cosby's other accusers who were not testifying, have not even been allowed to leave the courtroom in the midst of proceedings for bathroom breaks without being blocked from re-entering. So what? That's what they get. And Camille Cosby had been deposed in a civil lawsuit, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And yeah, so we'll see where this goes. That's just pretty much the whole thing that happened today. So yeah, it is in the jury's hands. And I'm hoping they see this for what it is. They need to understand that this was a bunch of BS. Nothing but a media created scam job. And they did it just so this trial could take place. They had all these women on all these talk shows, parading them around as if they're telling the truth, not being vetted. Okay, folks, not being vetted. And then when you hear what happened in court versus what you hear in the media, then folks who are just trying to say he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty, they still don't want to hear it. Because they've been brainwashed these last few years. People saying over and over and over, 10 women are accusing Cosby, 20, 30, 40, 50. I mean, just padding the numbers. Just so they can make this man look like he has been this crazy black man raping women. This famous black man, okay, on top of it. Since the 1960s. Give me a break. Give me a break. and hopefully this jury sees through it. So, like all of you, we're all waiting on pins and needles to see what they decide. I'm hoping they decide not guilty because this case is riddled with too much reasonable doubt. So, we shall see. All I can do is wish much success to Mr. Cosby and his lawyers and his wife and everyone else. And yeah, so what do you guys think about all this? Let me know, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If there is a verdict, I will definitely do a video, guilty or not. So look out for that. All right, guys, see you in the next video.